Hi, friends. Welcome back to another edition of RPC Money Talks, our monthly series where we talk all things business, money, and the strategies that actually move the needle for you, your business, and your clients. I'm Katie Mast, Director of Community here at Rock Paper Coin, and your host for today's webinar. If we haven't met before, we're a payment platform built for small business owners that's designed to make invoicing, contracts, and payments easy and affordable, which, let's be honest, is so important in today's economy. Today, we're doing something a little different than our usual Q&A because we're flipping the script and you are stepping into a workshop. Our incredible guest is someone who is going to help you turn those dreaded words, "you're too expensive," into, "Okay, where do we sign?" Maria Bayer is a high ticket sales strategist, speaker, and mentor to entrepreneurs who want to book bigger, better clients without slashing their prices or feeling salesy. She's taught 6 and 7 figure business owners to communicate their value so clearly that their clients stop price shopping entirely. In today's special session, Maria is going to walk you through her proven framework. And yes, you'll even be working from her exclusive workbook that you can and should start using immediately. So let's get comfy, grab your coffee, silence those notifications because this next hour is going to completely change how you sell forever. So to get us started, Maria, my friend, thank you for being here with us today.
Oh, Katie, it's so great to be here again. I love partnering with Rock Paper Coin, and I'm excited to share all the goodies that we have today.
Amazing. I don't want to keep you another second, so please, the floor is all yours.
Wonderful. Well, hello everyone. Let me give me just one second and I'll share my screen so we can get started. And hopefully that works for everybody and you can all see that. So today's session is called The Secret to More Yeses Without Lowering Your Price, right? Because that's the name of the game, especially this past year, which has been wonky for so many people. My name is Maria Bayer. I'm your high ticket sales coach for today, and I'm going to be running today's workshop. And this is what we're going to talk about today. This is what you'll learn. First thing, how to stand out in a saturated market. We all know how saturated it is right now and how easy it is for people just to walk into the market and hang up a shingle, so to speak. So we'll talk about how to do that. Also, how to communicate your value so clients stop comparing you. And the last thing is how to sell in a way that feels so natural, confident, and powerful. My goal for you is to empower you to feel good about selling and attract the clients that you dream of working with. But first, I want you to grab your workbook. You can either use this bit.ly link here, or you can take a screenshot of the QR code and download it directly. I have bonus strategies in there, so make sure that you download your workbook. And you also have a bunch of other goodies in there as well. So it's jam-packed for you. And it also has a bonus strategy like our ghosting fix. So if you've ever been ghosted, I'm sharing with you a magic email that I use to help get people unghosted. And stick around for your gift at the end. I have more resources for you, and we'll be doing a Q&A as well. And if we've never met, hi, I'm Maria. I help wedding pros, educators, service providers, coaches, and small business owners book high ticket clients, usually 5 figures plus, without chasing, following up a million times, or being salesy through timeless psychology backed strategies. And I have also 25 million in personal sales. So what I teach you, I've actually used in my own life to book over 25 million. My clients regularly 2 to even 10x their sales, usually within a year. They book high ticket clients and create generational wealth. And I'm also the CEO of Irresistible Selling. It's one of the industry's leading programs, masterminds, and group coaching all wrapped up into one. And it's for high level accelerator where ambitious business owners learn how to book high ticket clients without being salesy and become industry leaders. And my intention for you today is to help you get more yeses without chasing or discounting, by shifting how you sell and who you're actually being when you do. Because when you embody your value, you'll naturally stand out, sell with confidence, and book bigger clients without dropping your price. So let's talk about the elephant in the living room. In a market where everyone looks the same, how do you actually stand out? That's the $1,000,000 question. I want you to become incomparable, right? I don't want people to be able to compare you with anyone else. But if you're showing up like every other pro with the same packages, the same process, the same price-based messaging, what happens is you allow your clients to compare you apples to apples with everyone else. And this is what happens. So when I teach, I not only teach my clients what to do, but why it works. And it's important for you to understand why this works. This is all about psychology and how people make decisions. If you look and sound like everybody else, so your client is coming to you and they're looking at you and they're looking at this other person or multiple people, and they're saying, okay, this person has eight different things that they're offering. This one has 10. I'm going to see if this person is worth the 2 extra things that they're giving me. That's how they make decisions. They're comparing you apples to apples. I want you to not be able to have your clients compare you apples to apples with anyone. Because when you look and sound like everybody else, you actually force your client to make a decision on price. If you think about it in your own life, when you go to a store and you're looking at different products that look the same, which one are you going to choose? You're going to use price as a determining factor. You'll probably choose the middle one, but you'll probably never choose the most expensive one because everybody looks the same. So be incomparable. But when you personalize your process, build undeniable value, and make people feel deeply seen, you're no longer in the same category. You're no longer an Apple. You're actually a Michelin star experience. And that's what I want for you. I want them to look at you and look at everybody else and not be able to compare them whatsoever. This is why being incomparable wins. In a sea of competition, better isn't good enough. You want to be incomparable. Think about Starbucks and Apple, right? People pay multiples for products that they could easily get elsewhere. And why do they do that? Because the experience is different. The way they sell is actually part of that experience. That's how my clients can charge multiples what their competition is charging without having to change their actual service or offer different products or services. And the experience starts before they hire you, right? Your client's perception of your value doesn't start when you start delivering the service. It actually starts with the sales process. It's in the way you ask questions and make them feel understood, how you guide them confidently through your process. That makes you different, right? How you frame your proposals, how you talk about results in the language that they use. All of these touch points are part of your value. And the most sought after brands, think the handbag designers, right? Those are the easy ones to think of. They make buying from them feel exceptional. Your sales process is not separate from the experience. It's actually the first chapter of a one-of-a-kind experience that you deliver. So building value is about more than just adding extras to your package or offering different products or services than your competitors do. It's really about crafting an experience in every interaction that makes people feel like they can't get what you offer anywhere else. And when you do this, they stop comparing you apples to apples and start seeing you as the only option to say yes to. And when you understand how your clients think, what they truly want, not just what they say they want, and how to communicate the experience that they actually care about, you stop selling a service and you start selling the feelings, the memories, and the moments they've imagined for years. This is what makes selling easier because your process works with psychology, not against it. In a saturated market, the fastest way to move from just another option to the only option is to build value in every single step. And we're going to walk you through that. That means standing out in a sea of competition. It means positioning yourself as the best and only fit. It means helping your client see why you're worth what you charge and making it easy for them to say yes without shopping around. I can't tell you how many times my clients have come to our calls and said, I met with someone, I was the first vendor that they met with. They were supposed to meet with 3 other vendors after me. We met and they canceled all their other appointments and booked me on the spot. This is what happens when you stand out and you build value. Remember this, if your clients don't understand your value, they will always think you're expensive, no matter what you charge. So first, before we walk through what value is, I want to just make sure we understand the difference between cost and value. Cost is what you pay for something, right? It's the price tag. So here's an example. That's my dog, Jessie. She's 3 now. And the cost to adopt her was probably a couple $100, whatever it was. But the value to me of the love of a puppy, right? Of our little doggy, Jessie, is priceless, right? That's the value to me. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, because that's what you want to build in your clients' minds. Building value helps you in so many ways. It helps you stand out. It helps you position yourself as the best and only fit. It helps you book clients faster, right? Without chasing. It helps them see why you're worth what you charge. It helps you charge more than everyone else. It helps you book more clients, and it helps you raise your average sale. It does all of those things. So the more you do this, the more it's going to benefit you. And here's the cost of not building value. If you're not building value, you're not only losing clients, but you're also losing referrals and power partners to your competitors. So that's the importance of building value. So if you want to book premium clients and partners, build as much value as you can. Because, and I want you to remember this, take a screenshot of this, the more value you build, the more clients you'll book and the more money they'll pay. I talk about this all the time with my clients. I have them memorize it. Build value, build value, build value, because the more you build, the more money your clients will pay. And put another way, the more value you build, the more you can charge. So I know a lot of you listening today, you want to get into a more premium market, right? To either work with luxury clients or just raise your fee so that you can charge 5 figures plus. The more value you build, the easier it's going to be to raise your rates, and the more you can raise your rates. Here's proof. Nikki is one of my clients who is a planner. She not only paid off her mortgage with being able to sell better, but she just booked a $75,000 client, and that was her fee. And Matthew, who is a stationer, literally made $122,000 on 160 save the dates and birthday invitations. So I'm here to tell you there's a buyer for every price point. So the more value you build, the more you can raise your rates and charge like these people are charging. So let's get into how to actually build value, right? Building value incorporates a lot of different things: positioning, your presence, your process, pricing and packaging. Those also build value, and the people that are in your network. Those are all ways that you can build value. Today, we're going to talk about 4 steps to build value. Okay, step number 1. You first need to understand your client's problem, AKA their needs, right? So you might think that all your clients are similar, and they might be, but they don't all have the same problem. They don't all need the same thing. Maybe one client wants a big party, right? And they want to bring together all of their friends and family from all over the world. right? That's a different problem than someone who says, I want to have a wedding that really reflects who my fiance and I are as a couple, right? Those are two different things. So don't assume you know what your client's problem or their needs are. You need to make sure that you're asking them, right? So the first step is understand their problem. How do you apply that? You mirror back to them with the exact language that they use. This works so amazingly well, right? It's such a simple concept, but it works so well. So when you use your client's words back to them, it makes them know that you're listening and that they were heard, right? It also allows you to repeat back to them what their problem is, what their needs are, so that if there was anything that you missed or didn't understand correctly, it allows you to get clarity on that, right? When you use the same words back to your clients, they know you're paying attention, right? The opposite of that is someone, and we've all experienced this, is that used car salesman that just throws a pitch at you and just throws stuff at the wall and doesn't listen to you whatsoever, right? This is a really simple and very authentic way to mirror back to them that you understand what they need. Okay. Step 2. First, they have a problem that they hope you can solve, right? So you want to share how you can solve their problem, AKA why you're the best fit for them. Here's how you do it. Share a similar client story. So if your client, let's give an example. Let's say your client, we'll use the first example we used, has a guest list all over the world, right? They just are international travelers. They've got family and friends all over, and they really want to have them come together for this international, experience. So what I want you to do is I want you to share a client story with someone who had a similar problem. Not somebody that's completely different, but somebody that had a similar problem. Because what that does is it shows your client that, number one, you've got clients, right? And you've done this a million times, that you can easily solve their problem, right? And they want to hear those client stories because that allows them to put themselves in the shoes of your client and experience that result, right? And have that experience. So sharing client stories is my absolute favorite non-salesy way to toot your own horn without feeling like you're tooting your own horn, without sounding like you're tooting your own horn, and give your client exactly what they need to hear by sharing a relevant client story. Absolute favorite way. Step number 3, you want to focus on the benefits, right? AKA the outcome, the experience, the results, right? Most people focus on features. Here's my way of looking at features versus benefits and why the distinction is important. Features are the what, right? There are the bullet points that you think of when you show a proposal, for example, or they're the features, the bullet points that you see on a website when you're considering which package to purchase, right? Features are the what. Benefits are the why it matters, right? Why it matters to your clients. People, even salespeople that I worked with back in my software sales days, even salespeople made this mistake. So I don't want you to make the same mistake as well. Features sound like this: a 3-lens camera system with a f2.8 telephoto lens, and f1.5 wide lens, and a blah, 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 right? Those are features. But that does not address at all why your client should care about them, right? You know what you're selling better than they do. So you need to connect those dots and tell them why it matters to them. So the better way of saying that would be all of your memories easily captured in the best format for posting. Because that's what your clients care about, that I can put all of my photos in one place and I can post them easily. They don't care what kind of telephoto lens is in there. That's a feature. You want to talk about the benefits, why it matters. And Jay Abraham famously said, sell the benefits, not your company or the product. People buy results, not features. This is also going to be in your workbook. So you can take a screenshot or look in your workbook. But I want to give you an example of what this sounds like. And I won't go through all of them, but I'll pick a few out. So let's say you're a planner, right? One of your features might be a custom timeline creation, right? But the benefit is why it matters to the client. So you need to connect that dot. It could be ensure a seamless event where everything runs flawlessly without stress, right? Or if you are a photographer, we take in the moment event photography. That might mean something to you, but to your client, that probably doesn't make any sense, right? They don't know why it matters. So another way to say that would be scroll stopping images that transport your clients back to their event and attract new clients, partners, and sponsors. So for example, if you do corporate photography, right, this is going to be really important to your corporate clients. So think about what's important to them and you need to connect those dots. So don't talk about features, because when you talk about features, what we talked about in the beginning was if you just list your features and everybody else is listing their features, you are allowing your clients to compare on price. And that's how they make their decision. So you do not want to be able to compare apples to apples. So sound different. Use benefits, use these kinds of benefits, not the features. And here's where I want you to use this benefit language. On your website, in your email correspondence, in every conversation you have with anyone, right? In your proposals. This is especially important in your proposals. In your social media, in your package descriptions, in every post-sale client conversation, with other vendors, right? This is really important with other vendors. If you want to capture and make more relationships and have more power partners, talk in terms of benefits to them, not the features of what you offer. In other words, I want you to be using this language everywhere. Everywhere. And most importantly, all the benefits in the world won't close the gap without this final step. And this is how to build so much value that they cannot wait to hire you, right? This is what takes someone from, I want to look around, I want to talk to other people, to let's go. Let's sign on the dotted line. And this is the secret that big brands like Starbucks and Apple use to attract loyal customers who are happy to pay a premium. Step 4 is emotion, AKA make it easy for them to say yes. Emotion is the most important step. Emotion is a game changer. Emotion will help your client see more value with you than with everyone else. And the more value they see with you, the more they'll pay, right? We've been talking this whole time about building value. When you talk with emotion, right? When you use emotion, that's what builds value. It's what helps you stand out in a sea of competition. And because of that, they'll pay you more than they'll pay everybody else. So I want to talk to you about it in terms of the most important question that you're not asking your clients today. Let me tell you a brief little story. So when I was engaged, right, this was before I worked with anybody in the wedding industry, I was talking to a musician about the songs for our ceremony, right? And we went back and back and forth, like a ridiculous amount, right? Over whether or not I wanted to pay for an extra singer because I wanted a duet sung at my ceremony, and it required another singer. And the difference was maybe, I don't know, $200, $300 at the time. It was, in retrospect, no big deal. But here's the problem. Your clients are in the check the box mode, right? They have so many decisions in front of them that they just need to check the box. So they're in their logical brain, right? Trying to make a quick logical decision. Here's the problem that my musician didn't do, right? She never asked me one simple question. that would have completely changed the entire conversation and cut it off and made me say, let's go, let's do this. I don't care what it costs. And the thing that she didn't do, she didn't ask me, why is the ceremony important to you? That one question seems like a know nothing question, right? A very unassuming question. But had she asked me that question, it would have gotten me out of my logical brain, right? And connected to what was important to me, which was, wow, well, the ceremony actually, in the grand scheme of the day, is the most important part of the day to me. And I would have told her, had she asked, it's the most important part of the day because all I've ever dreamt of since I was a little girl was my dad walking me down the aisle. And last year, my father had a triple bypass, and the doctor wouldn't give us any prognosis whatsoever. We knew he was on borrowed time, and I didn't know if my dad would be there to walk me down the aisle. So had she asked me that question, it would have gotten me out of my logical brain and connected to what was important, which was having that experience of walking down the aisle with my father. Had she done that, it would have whipped me out of my brain. And I would have said, you know what? I don't care what it costs. Add that second singer because I want that experience with my dad. So I want you to uncover your client's why. I want you to understand what's important to them, and not just what's important to them, but take it a step further and ask them, why is that important to you? And in your workbook, I've given you lots of ways to uncover that. So I want to make sure that you get that. So in the workbook, why is blank important to you? So for every different kind of vendor, I put it into the workbook. So download that so that you can ask your specific question. And when you understand your client's why, that's a game changer for you, because I guarantee you, your competitors are not doing this. And that's how you stand out. And this is how you apply it. Once you ask what the client cares about and why, then I want you to paint a picture. So had she asked me the question of why is this picture always chokes me up. That's my dad walking me down the aisle. So had she asked me why, she could have said, you know what, Maria, we'll get the second singer. This is what it will be like. It will be like you will stand there behind the church doors. You'll hear the trumpets start. The church doors will open. Everyone will stand and turn around to watch you walk down the aisle with your father. That would have gotten me like that, and I would have paid anything for that experience. But again, if you stick with features, if you don't uncover your client's why and understand the emotion that they want to feel, you're leaving so much money on the table. And thankfully, I was fortunate enough to have this experience with my father. And it's one that I will treasure for the rest of my life. Because when you talk about the emotional benefits of your solution, you leave the practical world and enter the emotional world. And once you do, people always pay more for emotional benefits than for logical benefits alone. Because people make decisions emotionally and justify them rationally. Remember this. This will make you so much money, right? People always pay more for emotional benefits. If someone is talking to you and three other people, and you are the only one that asks them, why is this important to you? And you're the only one that paints that picture for them, guess who wins? You do. So what you've just learned isn't just a strategy, it's a whole new way of thinking, showing up and leading, right, in your business. And if this feels aligned, your gut already knows you're ready to book high ticket clients. And this is your sign to take the next step and start selling irresistibly. So I want you to take all of the things that you learned today and apply them today, right? Don't wait, just apply them with your very next inquiry. I cannot tell you how many people I have worked with that once they listen to one of my trainings, whether they're in my program or they listen to me at a summit or something like this, they book a client that very day because they use what I just taught them. So how much is a client worth to you? 5,000, 10,000? If you apply what you learned today, you could be $10,000 richer tomorrow. Just saying. So let's review the 4 steps. You've identified your prospect's problem. You've explained how you can solve their problem through client stories. You've focused on your benefits instead of your features. And you've painted a picture of the emotional benefits they want to experience by focusing on their why. Master these and you become incomparable. And when you build value, you get more yeses, you get better clients, you sell bigger packages, and you stop chasing, right? Hallelujah. You stop leaving money on the table. There is so much money that people are leaving on the table every single day. Think about how many inquiries you've had, even in the last year alone, and how much money you might be leaving on the table with every single one. That's a lot. And if you multiply that by the number of years you've been in business, that could be quite a bit of money. So start using these strategies and you'll stop leaving money on the table. This is how you double, triple, even 10x your sales. And this is what's possible. Daria's making well over 6 figures, landing $35,000 corporate clients. Emma literally booked $1.2 million in 3 years. And when she started with me, she was making $50,000. So would you be happy with 1.2 million? Probably. Sarah went from 120,000 to 450,000 in 2 years, right? She's hired 4 team members. She went from charging 8,000 to now charging between 18 and 20. And she's been published in Vogue multiple times. So now I'm going to give you a bonus strategy. I'm going to teach you how to convert a dangling client. And you know who those are. These are the ones that you've maybe sent a proposal to and you haven't heard back, right? I call them dangling clients. So I'm going to give you a challenge. I want you to write down the names of any dangling clients on a piece of paper right now. There's also space for this in the workbook. And I want you to email them this week, today, preferably, right? Take action today. And I want you to paint a picture for them of what it would be like working together. And if you know their why, I want you to focus on their why. If you don't know their why, guess, right? You know your clients, you know what they typically care about. So paint a picture of what it would be like working with you. Literally the very first time I gave this assignment, Rachel emailed me back and she said, I emailed one of my dangling clients the next morning and they got back to me later that afternoon asking for the easiest way to send the deposit. Literally, it could work that fast. And sales, if you've ever been around my community, you've heard me say before, sales is a numbers game. So if you do this with every dangling client that you have, some percentage of them are going to say yes, and you're going to convert them. That one strategy alone can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Just one strategy, not even counting all the other ones that you learned today. So I want you to email your dangling client challenge results to me at maria@mariabayer.com so I can celebrate with you. And I'm going to give you a little gift, how to apply these strategies to your specific business. I know you all do different things and you all have a different clientele and you live in different parts of the world. So I am gifting you a free mini strategy call. Use this bit.ly link here and be sure to use code RPC. Otherwise, it'll cost you $250. And I have limited spots that I can do this for. I can't do this for hundreds of people. So when the spots are gone, they're gone. But sign up for a free strategy call and we'll customize this for your business. I also have a bunch of free resources for you. So be sure to start with the workbook, right? This is also in your, all of this is also included in your workbook. Sign up for free client booking sales tips at mariabayer.com. I have a private Facebook community called Learn, Collaborate, Flourish that I'd love to see you in. You can follow me on Insta at Maria Bayer 1. And if you have any questions and want to share your results with me, email me at maria@mariabayer.com. And lastly, I have a special invitation for you. As you may or may not know, I run the longstanding program called Irresistible Selling. It is part mastermind, part accountability, part sales strategy, part online program, part group coaching, all wrapped up into one. And it helps you book high ticket clients quickly, right? Without chasing, without following up a million times, right? And how you can get your clients to choose you over your competition. And so what I wanted to do is something special for RPC members. So if you apply and join us by Friday, next Friday, August 22nd, you'll get a free private strategy session with me to map out your strategy for your business. And that way you can hit the ground running. And you can apply there at that bit.ly link. And these are just some examples of what's possible. Through Maria's training, I've started closing deals on the spot and 6x'd my monthly take home. That to say the program is more than paid for itself. So there's hundreds of these success stories on an Instagram. You can search the hashtag MB Love Notes. And with that, I'm going to open it up to Q&A.
Wow, friends. Let's just take a second to breathe all that in. I'm still tearing up just from the emotions that you had in that. And it's true. It's like people buy from people, right? And your story and what you put into your business to have your clients and your customers feel your story is important. But it is also so incredibly important to know your clients and your customers and your communities why. Like, why are
Exactly.
you doing this? Why are you here? Why are we here together? And those little details can get caught in the logistics and get caught in that day to day. So it was such a great reminder to bring that back to the forefront of let's remember why we're here and let's talk about that for a minute and let's
Yeah.
celebrate that and make sure that
Yeah.
we're all on the same page and understanding what's the priority here.
Yeah. And when you ask that question and your competitors don't, you stand out,
Mhm.
right? So it's all about the little things that all add up to an experience that just looks and feels infinitely different than every other vendor out there. And that's the name of the game. That's how you become incomparable. I want them to not be able to compare you with everybody. So you need to look and sound different, even if your products and services are the same.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so before we officially jump into Q&A, if you have any questions for Maria, please load them into the chat. We have a couple of questions that were asked in registration that we also pulled as well, so we'll get to those. But before we get to that, here is what I'd love for everyone to do. I would like everyone to write down or think of your biggest aha moment that came to you during today's workshop. And I want you to grab your phones and I want you to head to Instagram and feel free to snap a pic of your screen right now. Smile. Uh, and then I want you to tag rock, paper, coin. I want you to tag us and I want you to tag Maria. And I want you to share that aha moment with us because we want to see them and we want to know what resonated with you and honestly, that's always my favorite part of any webinar, is just being able to, really see what stuck with people and those aha moments. They're so different for every single person. And sometimes hearing someone's aha moment becomes your aha moment. Like that's kind of the beauty of an aha.
Exactly.
And this was just so incredible for Maria to do for us for free. And we're just so thankful. So let's see those posts. Go ahead and give a tag and let us know what those aha moments are. There were a couple that popped up into the chat, which was so awesome. Oscar shared, I will apply this now. I have an inquiry. And I was like, go, Oscar. Yes. Like,
Yes.
we got this. So yeah, share those moments with us. They're so, so special. Sari will go ahead. Look at, she already did it. She's amazing. Sari went ahead and added our social media tags in the chat. So those are super easy for you to find. So we can't wait to read those. So Maria, let's open the floor with these questions. Let's start with the ones that we got during registration. And then of course, if you have any, feel free, pop them in there. There is no wrong questions. So the first one is, if everyone in my industry is saying the same thing in their marketing, how do I actually stand out without feeling gimmicky or feeling the need to run a promo or an incentive all the time?
Yes. So we talked a little bit about that in terms of like your sales process. So when someone inquires how to sound different from everybody else, that's the whole value formula that I shared with you. In your marketing, though, it's also in how you're talking about your clients' whys. So do a client story. Talk about the client that you help that brought in friends and family from all over the globe, or whatever your client's story is, right? And talk about what was important to them and then how you helped facilitate that. And then bring in like a quote from them saying, This is what we did for them, and this is what they said afterwards," right? It client quotes and client stories are my absolute favorite way to toot your horn without tooting your horn and sounding like you're just being like, like that. So, and clients want to hear that, because if they don't hear any client stories, they don't know that you're working with clients. They want to know that you are popular, that you are successful, and that you've done this so many times that you got this, right? They need to hear that. So this is my favorite way to do that.
I love that. I love that. We're such visual creatures. And
Mhm.
I know that creatives, we know that we're visual creatures, but so are your clients. They don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And, they don't know until they see something. And there's nothing cooler than being able to see a moment where you can relate to it and put yourself in someone else's shoes and say, like, oh, that's how I want to feel, or that's
Yep.
I want. And that's a
I
very
want that.
cool feeling for them to have that aha moment in their own planning experience. So when they get to have that moment with you because it's something you've done, that's really special.
Yeah. And if everyone else is just talking about features, right? It seems transactional. It doesn't seem
True.
the most personal day of your life,
Yeah.
right? So they need to see these, they need to hear these stories, they need to know that that's what you're focusing on, that
Yeah.
you are actually, you're not there just to, let's say you're a planner, you're not there just to execute an event, you're there to bring their vision to life, and so that they create these memories and they create this experience. That's a whole different story than someone saying, I'm a planner and I do X, Y, and Z. It's completely different. And again, you're offering almost the same thing, but you're talking about it in a completely different way. And the process you take them through looks different.
Hmm.
That
Absolutely.
builds value. Just like when you go to even Nordstrom. Nordstrom, still, you pay and then they bring the bag around the corner to you and hand it to you. It's a simple little thing that anybody can do, but they do it because they want the experience to feel more bespoke, more special.
Yeah. I'm thinking back to even like growing up and the first time that I was old enough to really acknowledge that bag to hand transaction and just saying like, thank you. Like just even the way that you say thank you, it's so
Yeah.
unexpected and it's just such a nice moment. It's a touch point,
Yeah.
right? So yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. So someone actually shared a dangling client option. So I want to share that. So my best dangling client option got a semi-lame check-in, don't ghost me, please email from me just yesterday. Should I email them again today?
I heard most of what you said. Can you repeat it just one more time?
Yes, my best dangling client option got a semi-lame. We don't think it's lame. Don't worry. It was great. Basically a check-in, don't ghost me, please. Like, hey, I'm checking in with you, email from me yesterday.
Okay, got
But
it.
I still email them again today.
Yes. All right. So I would say maybe give it another day, right? And then very thoughtfully create an email that paints the picture of them working with you, giving them the type of experience that they're looking for. You could also, because you've already just emailed them, you could tie it in with something that you saw, and you could say, "Oh, I just saw this come across my feed. It made me think of you." And so, and then paint that picture of what that client wants. So there's something that's a bridge that kind of gives you an excuse to reach back out to them so quickly.
Great. I love that. Okay, here's another one. What's the best way to communicate my value before a client even asks for pricing?
Yes. So your whole process that you take them through from how they inquire, like that process that you put them through, that needs to look different from everybody else so that you start building value from the very first touch point. I mean, technically you're building value in all of your social media marketing and your website, all of that is, but from in the context of today's conversation, you want to make sure that you are looking and sounding different from everybody else so that when you get to the pricing discussion, they already have everything they need to make a decision. And one of the things that I like to have people do is your process should build urgency, right? It should build urgency from the first interaction with your clients. So what a lot of people get wrong is they try to use like tactics when they're
Mhm.
closing, right? And the tactic itself might work in a different context, but they try to throw stuff at their clients at the last minute, and it feels very disingenuous. We don't want that, right? You want to be transparent, and today's buyer wants you to be transparent. So for me, building urgency is something that you can easily do so that you're not chasing, so that they're not sitting on the fence. And literally the easiest way for you to do that is to say on your website and in your inquiry form, even in your email signature, due to the number of inquiries we receive on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, we don't hold dates,
Mm.
right? It's this, and a lot of people might use some format of that, but if you say it in that way, it's not a tactic, it's teaching them how to do business with you because they don't know that you have a million inquiries or don't. They don't know that you're booked up 8 months in advance or not. They don't know any of those things. So you have to teach them how to do business with you. So when you tell them from the very beginning, it removes the ick and it removes the tactic and the feeling of being like smarmy, right? Because you're literally just teaching them, this is the way we do business. This is how we do it. You inquire, you fill out our form. This is the process I'll take you through. You have to gently guide them through your process. But
Yeah.
building urgency from the beginning is a really, really effective strategy to help you not chase. Because my clients do not chase. We do not follow up.
Yeah. Yeah. And the natural FOMO is exciting too, right?
Mhm.
And
Yep.
creating that is key.
Again, it's buyer psychology. It's
Right.
buyer
Yeah.
psychology,
101.
really. It's all it is. There was a study actually a gazillion years ago back in the day, and I don't remember where I read it, but they were selling products on a table in a store, and they had a lot of products on the table, and they weren't selling. They got it in their heads to just put a few products out so it looked like they were all like purchased, and they flew off the shelves.
Mhm.
So people, scarcity works, right?
For
And if you use it from the very beginning, it's not disingenuous and it doesn't feel salesy. It's just, hey, I'm not going to be chasing you. And we book up pretty quickly. And because of the nature of how many inquiries we have, I can't possibly hold dates because I would never be able to tell anybody if I'm available if I was just holding dates for everybody that asked.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right. That's right. So Oscar is going to share a dangling client story with us too. I have a dangling client as well. We spoke on a call and I went over the proposal with them a few weeks ago. I sent them a follow-up email a week later offering a bonus upgrade for this last Friday. No response. Is now a good time to send them that wrapping up email?
Ah, okay. So one thing that you could do different next time is if you offer a bonus upgrade later, it feels salesy
Mhm.
and it feels like you're desperate. So if you offer it before and tell them that you're offering it before, it will be far more effective, less salesy, and you'll get the client typically. Right. So that's one thing I would do differently next time. But for this one, um, if if you told them that you would hold dates, then tell them that the date is not being held anymore, or you're going to release the date. If you don't hear from them, no problem. In the workbook, I gave you a ghosting email template that you can use. So you could use a version of that and just say, hey, I'm going to close this out. Or I'm going to release your date because unfortunately, like we have other inquiries and I can't hold it. So those are ways that you can go back to them in a very authentic way without having to chase.
Yeah, at this point, I think sending that email of like, "Hey, I'm so excited to work with you. I just did get an inquiry for this date, and I want to make sure that I value you first. You were here first. I'm so
Mhm.
excited. We've connected with each other." Like, really, just kind of lay into that, and go that route in this, and
Absolutely.
because they're either going to book or they're not, and so
Right.
you
Right.
letting them know you have an inquiry may alter that, but it'll let them know at least, hey, we've got to make a decision here, one way or
Yeah.
another.
And if they don't respond, then you can use that final email that I have in the workbook where it basically says, hey, I'm closing this out. If and when you want to inquire again, I'd be happy to check the calendar to see availability and
Hmm.
pricing because you don't want to hold prices. So that basically tells them and sets the expectation that you may not be available and your may not be the same. Because my clients are raising their prices regularly, if not with every client.
Amazing. Okay, something to consider here. Okay, we have one more question before we wrap up. Um, okay, what's one thing we can add to our inquiry process to shorten the time between a client inquiry and a signed contract?
That's the
That's
that's
it.
that's the urgency. Like we don't hold dates because of the number of inquiries we receive.
Yeah.
That's the fastest way. That's the easiest way to do it.
Love that. Okay, we got one more in the chat, and then we're going to go into our closing remarks. And then we also have a bonus webinar this month. So stay tuned for a second. We want to make sure that you get that link. But Sarah says, amazing presentation and great reminders, Maria. With the scarcity tactic, I'm afraid clients will think we are too busy for them and we wouldn't be able to give them the attention they want.
Yeah, so this is scarcity just in terms of holding dates, right? It's only to get them to book because you're telling them basically, I get so many inquiries, and if I held a date for every single person, I would never be able to answer an inquiry and say, yes, we're available. I can't operate a business that way. So this is how you're using that scarcity tactic, just to get them to be able to make a decision faster, and knowing that the longer they wait, the more that date might become unavailable. And if you tell them that from the beginning, and you just say when you get on the phone call with them, like, hey, just so you understand, like this is a really busy time of year. We tend to get a lot of inquiries. And because of the nature of what we do, we only work with a certain number of clients per year, and there's only a certain number of weekends, et cetera, whatever's appropriate for your business. We can't hold dates because I'd never be able to tell anybody whether or not we were available. And that's less pushing you to make a decision and more, this is how our business runs. I wouldn't be able to run my business if I didn't answer in this way. So,
Yeah, I think it also opens up that opportunity to then bring in those touch points because hopefully you've gotten personal information from them. You can talk about their dreamy venue. Oh, you're so excited. You were just there last weekend. Or, about just the touch points that you're just so excited about. And being able to end that with, I am ready. I am ready to get started with you. I am so excited. I cannot wait. I'm already dreaming and thinking about our first conversation with each other. Like,
mhm,
all of those are opportunities for you to say the business sentence and then love on them like crazy, and
yep,
it won't feel so
exactly.
scary.
Yeah.
Ugh, okay, amazing, my friend, amazing. Thank you so much. Um, Honestly, like this has just been so great, and I know that your workbook is really just going to open so many eyes and reminders to people. So, thank you again. As a reminder, this is a monthly webinar hosted by us, Rock Paper Coin. Summer has been a super fun season for us, and we've had the opportunity to bring you double webinars lately. So, get ready for our bonus chat happening this month with the incredible Carissa Cruz on August 27th. This session with her is raw and it is honest. And it's taking a look at the hidden costs of success that no one is really talking about, but everyone is facing when growing a business, from the emotional toll of constant visibility to the insatiable pressure to scale, 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 and which we all know just turns into disastrous things like burnout, and we want to avoid that. So, the link is right there in the chat. Go ahead and sign up. As always, it's free. If you can't make it live, don't worry. Go ahead and sign up. That replay will be right into your inbox. So make sure you sign up for that. My friend, thank you again for your time. It is always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I love talking to your community, and it's just so much fun.
Thank you. And thanks to all of you for listening. Don't forget to show us all of your social posts today and what you learned, and join us for our next session. We will see you soon. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.